Hello everybody, welcome. We are here today at Universal Studios checking out Halloween Horror Nights 33. This is going to be the ultimate sneak peek for the awesome event that is coming here in a couple of days. We're going to be checking out all of the scare zones, all of the houses, all the new booths that are going to be here today. And we are even going to talk about the brand new icons for this year. So it is going to be an awesome episode today. Let's get on inside. All right, we are in, and right behind me, we're already seeing our first scare zone. This is the Duality of Fear scare zone that is going to greet guests as they walk through the gates here on opening night for Halloween Horror Nights. This is also where Sinister and Surreal, the two new icons for this year, will be revealed. And one of the most interesting things about the scare zone this year is that there are actually two paths to take. You can go down the Surreal side or you can go down the Sinister side. And as I'm walking up to it, I can also see that there is the stairway, the sort of ladder stairway that is leading up to the top of the scare zone, where what I assume Sinister and Surreal will be standing up there during sort of the opening ceremony when they're opening up the park. Just like last year when they had Dr. Oddfellows up on the scaffolding and he sort of did that big reveal and welcomed everybody in. We're going to do that again this year, it looks like, with Sinister and Surreal. But like I said, it's actually pick your poison. Are you going to go down the Surreal side or are you going to go down the Sinister side? Which I think is a really interesting twist this year. As we exit through the scare zone, your paths are going to be to the left or to the right as usual, but one of them will lead you down the Sinister versus the Surreal side. Now, if we take the right, which is what we're going to do, because we usually turn right when we come into the park, this is going to take us to the first scare zone, which is going to be the Demon Queens. And these Demon Queens are essentially the minions of Sinister and Surreal. And you're going to have to make a choice. And we go this direction, we're going to run into Demon Queens. And in years past around this time, we've had a lot of decorations in this particular space. This is one of the largest scare zones in the entire park. And there's usually a lot of light posts and poles and decorations already up for the scare zone by this time. I believe, however, because of the parade that they did this year, so they have that brand new parade, that they're trying to keep this sort of area as clean as possible to allow room and space for the parade to come through. But I am seeing some light posts, I am seeing a little bit of decorations, but it seems like this particular location might be the least decorated at this point. So coming up, you can see this light post right here, but again, it's off the side. You notice there's nothing on the actual driveway. Everything is up on the sidewalks, which is unusual because usually they're out here in this space. But it looks like, again, this year, because of the parade, they need as much space as possible, and they're putting things up here on the sidewalks. You can see one over here as well. And I also see Betty Boop. Wow! What a chance opportunity. Hello. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, and I see the Simpsons up here too, so that's pretty neat. Now, I'm not really seeing any new merchandise that I haven't seen before, but I did want to call this out because they still have a lot of Creature from the Black Lagoon merchandise, and there is no Creature of the Black Lagoon real call out in Dark Universe at the brand new Epic Universe. And so again, speculation and discussion around the fact that there was a planned water attraction in Dark Universe that was eventually canceled or put on hold or put into a phase 2. So we're still kind of waiting for it. But again, they keep talking a lot about Creature from the Black Lagoon, but we haven't seen anything yet. So crossing my fingers. It's a giant little boo. Look how big this thing is. It's huge. $30 for this giant little boo, like pillow. I don't know, it's huge. Little boo! Quick little view of the Simpsons on the way by. Hey, what's up, Simpsons? There's so many more characters and stuff out there in the daytime. Now this area again is where we're expecting the Megan Horde to recur. Now we haven't heard much about the Megan Horde this year so far, but we do have the Blum House scare zone, and Megan was shown on the art for the Blum House scare zone. So it's quite possible that we will get the Megan Horde returning, and she'll be in this area if she does.
Savannah, what birthday is it?
But the Swamp Zone is one of the ones I really wanted to check out because it is really almost looks complete, and it looks awesome. And this usually ends up being, I think, the scariest scare zone of all of them. Look at all this stuff. So cool. There's a whole boat right here. I just love how compact this scare zone is, and there's so many people walking through here. So you've got your scare actors jumping out. You've got people walking this way, people walking back this way. There's not a ton of space. And so it ends up being very compact and lots of scariness, especially once all the fog and stuff starts. But check this out. I just want to look at this. Look at this cool water effect. It's like the boat is sinking in this water. And they're using like a mirror to make that effect happen. That's pretty cool. I like that. Hopefully no one steps on that and breaks it. They got a whole airboat right here. What? Check it out. There's an entire airboat. Wow, they really went crazy this time. I feel like this is the most stuff they've put in this scare zone. Usually there's like little like jump scare buildings where people will kind of hang out in and jump out at you. But I like all these like docks and boats that they got going on. Look at all these barrels. Look at this. There's a whole like swamp treehouse in this space. What? Oh, look at these like antique bottles over here. I mean, this is, wow, they really spared no expense on the decorations here this year. This scare zone, I mean, this is a sign of things to come. I can't wait to see the rest of the stuff that's out. This is awesome. I wonder if there'll be somebody up in there. I don't see a ladder other than this busted ladder, but I don't think anybody's climbing up that. So it doesn't look to me like there's going to be anybody up there unless they, I don't know. It looks cool though. Here's the rest of the ladder. I mean, this is just really awesome. Oh, I see an alligator. Oh, look, another one of those like sunken boat effects with the water. Oh, what's that? What's this? What's these barrels here? Is this a homage to Jaws? Probably not, but I'm just gonna call it like it is, even though it's not. I like these effects. Oh, I want to see the alligator. Look at the alligator. Oh, this is so cool. There's an alligator. There's a whole alligator here. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Can I see his face? Can I see him in there? Can't see him. Oh, there's another one right here. Whoa, this one's even bigger. Wow, that's huge. That is a massive alligator. Well, I'm glad they have alligators. If you're going to have a bayou, you got to have alligator. And you can see right here, Pardon Our Dust, Halloween Horror Nights, undergoing some transformation, some building. Wow, that is so cool. Wow, that scare zone, Swamp of the Undead, looks absolutely amazing. And looks terrifying. It looks terrifying. I cannot wait to see that thing at night with all the fog effects and the lighting going and all the things jumping out at you, packed to the gills. I mean, it's going to be, it looks so awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited about that one. That looks really cool. Now, we're pretty far into the park, as you can see. We're in the Simpsons Land. And you notice I haven't talked anything at all about any of the haunted houses this year so far. That's because Universal made the decision that they're not going to use the parade warehouse buildings this year for their haunted houses. And instead, they've built new sprung tents way back in the back here, which means you're not going to experience your first haunted house walking to the right until you're pretty deep into the park, all the way back by Men in Black. Now, I think this was a mistake, and I'll tell you why. In the past, there were 2 haunted house entrances that were over there by E.T. So what would happen is people would enter the park, they'd turn right, they'd start to go near E.T., and a big group of people would sort of branch off and go in that direction. And then more people would keep walking straight back here towards Men in Black to see some of the houses back there. And it kind of kept people spread out. You had people going to the left when they first come into, or going straight, I should say, and that sort of spread people out. This year, there are now 4 houses all the way back here at Men in Black. On top of that, you've got the brand new Nightmare Fuel show back here in the corner as well, which means that a huge amount of people for Halloween Horror Nights are all going to be going to the same exact place, which is right behind me. Ooh, they got some trusses up here. I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe kind of a little keep going entrance thing to let you know you're on the right track, because this is a really far walk back here before you even see your first haunted house. But what's going to happen is you're going to have a huge number of people converging in this one small area over here by Men in Black and by the Nightmare Fuel show. And I just think it is going to make it crazy back here. 4 houses and a show, and there's not that many food booths right here or drink locations right here, which means those are probably going to be completely swamped and overwhelmed. Not that they're not usually anyway, because all the food and drink locations during Halloween Horror Nights are completely swamped. But these ones back here will especially be swamped. And I just don't know why they did that. I think even if they were to maybe not use the parade buildings, I don't know why they didn't create entrances at different spaces, like maybe still use those entrances. I mean, it's a long walk, but I don't know, man. I just think it's going to be a zoo back here. I'm a little bit worried about it. Walking up to Men in Black, straight to the right over here, this will be the entrance for Museum Deadly Exhibits. And we were able to get a sort of a sneak peek at the exterior of the museum. It's kind of hard to see, and it's the best view we could get of it. But it is right back here through these trees. And it looks to be kind of a cool one. I was hoping for more of like a mummy style or whatnot, but we ended up with this, and that's okay. Over to the left here is the very highly anticipated Slaughter Cinema 2. They've just recently revealed some details about what to expect in Slaughter Cinema 2, and I am very excited for it. This was a sleeper hit house when the Slaughter Cinema 1 was originally created. And as you know, I've said it in previous videos, Slaughter Cinema 1 was all about sort of the failed ideas for haunted houses that they basically mashed into one big house. So things like the Yeti came from that, the pumpkin lore, devil dogs, a lot of those things came out of Slaughter Cinema 1. So it's highly possible that the things that we see in Slaughter Cinema 2 this year will end up being houses in years to come. So we're going to want to keep our eye on the cool things that are in that house, because that's kind of going to be a sneak peek for future Halloween Horror Nights. Now a little bit further up here, we've got the new sprung tents, which are, from what I hear, really far back here. We won't be able to really see them, but this is going to be the Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines that was just revealed. I think it was one of the last houses they revealed. And then also Goblin's Feast is up here. Now, we were speculating that this year the Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines was going to be a sort of all-female Universal Monsters, and it sounds like that is going to be the case. Now, there may be some other figures in there, but it sounds like it's going to be heavily skewed. Can't really see anything back there because they're real far back there, but it does seem like it's going to be heavily skewed towards the female cast of the Universal Monsters, which I think is a really cool idea. Sounds like we've got a character, Sasha Van Helsing, who's going to be going up against the Bride of Frankenstein and Dracula's daughter. So it sounds really cool. We've got a hero that's going to make their debut sort of in this haunted house, but we've also got villains, so it seems like there's going to be some cool battle going on, which I think is really neat, because usually the haunted houses are sort of just the bad guys, and they rarely actually showcase the good guys in some sort of battle going on. So I'm really anxious to see how that comes out. And as I mentioned, the other location, Goblin's Feast over there, is a feast that you're basically welcome to, but you're the main course for these goblins. So I'm anxious to see that one too. I'm hoping it has kind of a look and feel of like the mead hall that we're expecting in How to Train Your Dragon, all this like sort of medieval times, wooden structures, and lots of food on the tables. Big Genghis Khan type leg of lambs or turkey legs or whatever they are. So I think this could be a cool house. I think this, but again, Goblin's Feast, which I think is actually anticipated, highly anticipated. Universal Monsters, all female, very hotly anticipated. You've got Slaughter Cinema 2 back here, highly anticipated. 4 big houses back here, at least 3 big houses. And then Nightmare Fuel. Woo! There's going to be a lot of people in this small area right here. And right around the corner, you've got the Blum House, which we're going to get to. I don't know. I feel like they've stacked too many really cool banger things in this one spot. I feel like it's going to be trouble for them because it's already trouble here anyway because of Nightmare Fuel. This area right here lets out. So whenever the show is going on, when it ends, it lets out here, and they do not allow you to walk through here. Everyone who leaves the show must walk out that way. Everyone who wants to come through here during the show actually has to go all the way around that bridge right there. So this area already is super overwhelmingly packed with people. I just feel like adding all this other stuff in this corner is going to be rough. Now let's talk about the show. We've got Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus this year. Trying to see if I can get a glimpse of anything. Not great. I can't see very well up there. I do know that they were testing this just last night. I saw some pictures of the testing that was going on. This is going to be basically a dark, evil circus that is very sinister, but expect much of the same aerialist pyrotechnics that we get from all the other Nightmare Fuel shows. Still trying to figure out if they are eventually going to crush this stadium here and make way for some more Wizarding World stuff like they've been saying they were going to, but it's still hanging out here. So I guess maybe Nightmare Fuel being so popular has really kept them from demolishing this particular stadium. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe at some point, maybe once Epic Universe opens up, they'll start crushing it. All right, we're going to skip right past the Wizarding World of Harry Potter because the only thing that's in this area is the Death Eaters, which they will be making a return this year. So expect to see the Death Eaters in Diagon Alley, as in the last couple of years. But the next scare zone is right here in front of Fast and Furious, one of the best attractions of all time. But it is none other than the Blum House, which I think is a really cool idea because it's basically like you're walking into the house. If Blum House was a house, we're basically walking into Blum House, which I think sounds really cool. Oh, and I'm getting my first view of it. It looks awesome. Now, we do know that 4 key iconic characters from the films are going to be showing up in this scare zone. There is the Grabber from Black Phone. We've got Freaky. We've got Happy Death Day. And we have Megan. So those are the 4 that we know are confirmed so far just from the concept or from the concept art, the imagery. Unfortunately, those are ones that we've already seen at Halloween Horror Nights, so no real new characters so far, but there could be some surprise appearances. Hey, maybe we'll get some Five Nights at Freddy. We have seen Five Nights at Freddy in some of the posters in Halloween Horror Nights in the past, so maybe we'll get him. Who knows? Oh yeah, look how cool this looks. We're heading straight into Blum House. Like I said, it's basically like you're walking into the Blum House. Oh, it looks awesome. I love how big it looks. It's not a huge scare zone, but I like how big the size of it looks. What's this guy? Check this guy out. Look at this. These lockers right here. I don't know, it looks really cool. I like how big it looks just from a vertical standpoint. Usually this zone is pretty small, and it looks like it's going to be kind of small spatially again this year. But I do like that they've raised it up vertically to try to give it more size and scale to make it feel bigger. I expect there's going to be a lot more decorations coming in here. They can't put too much out too soon because obviously it's not a large space. But I don't know, I'm just excited about this. I like these decorations. It's getting me amped. If you're a big fan of Blumhouse, this is going to be an awesome scare zone. You're going to see all these iconic characters. I'm assuming that these iconic characters are going to be up on these stages most of the time because I see 2 here and there was 2 on the other side. So we'll probably have like the Grabber here, Happy Death Day here, and you'll have, you know, the Freaky character over there, as well as maybe Megan. And that way, you'll be able to get a lot of photos. I'm assuming it'll be very similar to previous years, where some of the most popular characters, you know, you're going to be walking by, you're going to do kind of like a selfie with them. They're pretty good about posing, surprisingly. You'd think they'd be more like, "Arr," and not really into it. But they are pretty good about it. They actually do let you lean in. They'll do some selfie photos. I'm also seeing right here, there's a foot pedal right here. There's one on each of these, which I'm assuming activates some sort of effect or vocal. Probably a vocal line of some kind. It might be a vocal as well as lighting and things. It does look like these foot pedals are going over here and they're plugged into these speakers. Kind of follow it over there and then it looks like it's plugged into these speakers here. So my assumption is that each one of these characters is going to have a particular vocal line or a couple of vocal lines that it will essentially rotate through and probably famous lines from the film, which I think will be pretty cool. Now once again, you'll notice we've been walking for a while. We've been moving and I haven't talked about haunted houses for a bit because again, they're all clustered in really 2 spots. Which again, I just think it's a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. I have a feeling opening night is going to be a total disaster, but I mean, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome, well worth the money. Everyone will have a good time and love it. But I feel like it's going to be really crowded and a complete train wreck in those particular areas. All right, well, I came in here to the Fast and the Furious ride, not because I'm planning on riding this atrocity, but because I want to see if I can get any sneak peeks for the Major Sweets Candy Company. All right, well, that was a colossal goose egg. I couldn't see anything. I mean, I can kind of see some of the scrims and stuff back there, but you really can't ever see anything for this particular haunted house, so we're just going to keep moving. But that's, like I said, that's going to be the Major Sweets Candy Co., which used to be a scare zone and is now turned into its own haunted house, which I think is cool because that just goes to show us that other scare zones that we've seen in the past, they might turn out and turn into haunted houses in the future. Well, it looks like they finally opened up this area so we can walk through it now. And they always have something. The last few years they've had something back here. So like Meat's Locker was here one year. It was kind of like a nice little area. Then they changed it into the Fedra, a sort of Last of Us area where they had a drink station right here. Then they had kind of a food booth right here. I'm not seeing any construction or anything back here yet, which is surprising given that I would definitely think they would put something back here again this year. But I'm not seeing it. I do see this is still walled off right here. That doesn't allow you to cut through there, but I'm surprised. So it's actually making me think that maybe we're not going to get something here this year, and it might be because of all the construction they've been doing here, and then the parade will be going by. I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest. Really shocked that they don't have anything up here. I just came up here, which you're allowed to walk right up here, and I can actually see over this thing, and they're not doing anything. They're just doing some like refurbishment on this window. So even behind this like wooden thing here, they're not doing anything for like Halloween Horror Nights construction as far as I can see, which so that sounds to me like we might not actually get anything in that little alleyway this year. I don't know if it's because of the parade or whatever, but we made it all the way over here to Torture Fair, which is the final scare zone that I wanted to show, and they've got a lot of cool stuff up here. This is always the scare zone that has a lot of like audience participation or interaction. Is usually some sort of stage going on, a show of some kind. Last year, if I remember correctly, it wasn't that great. I've seen it way better. Well, actually, last year was pretty decent. The year before that wasn't the best. That was Major Sweets. I felt like it was the weakest, to be honest. I like Major Sweets, but I feel like that one was weak. The hippie one was pretty good. The vampires one. The year before that, which was those sort of like futuristic weirdo alien dudes, that was pretty cool. So Torture Fair might be pretty neat too. Ye Old Torture Fair. This is basically medieval times, torture devices. This whole scare zone will be all about that. I see some like old school old school like medieval times tents that you would find maybe at jousting tournaments and things like that. That's what it reminds me of. So this is a huge scare zone though, absolutely enormous. And it looks pretty cool so far. I want to head back here into the back corner because this is going to be the entrance for Insidious and Triplets of Terror. We'll be back here. Now I'm not really seeing anything that I can find. It's the same light, lamppost, fog machine area stuff here that was here last time, but well, I think it's pretty obvious what these two food booths are going to be. They're obviously none other than Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, so we know that is a house which we're going to go look at here in just a second. But it looks like they are going to have Ghostbusters food as well, themed food. You can see obviously all the ice, and this basically looks kind of like the firehouse, if you will. You can even see the proton pack, sort of like caution tape there around the edge of that, which I think is pretty cool. But obviously very much Ghostbuster themed, and I believe this is probably also going to be Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters takes place primarily in New York City. This is a New York City deli and grocery, family owned since 1984. So I also see ice down here at the bottom. You can sort of see right down there at the bottom, you see icicles, you see a little bit of like almost snowish ice stuff right here. So these two booths are definitely connected, all part of the Ghostbusters theme and universe here. So two whole booths that we know of so far that are going to have Ghostbusters themed food, which tells me that this year they're banking on Ghostbusters being The Last of Us last year. Last of Us was similar. They had a bunch of food booths. They had that whole center area, the Fedra food rations and everything. And then they had the house, obviously. So Last of Us was their biggest draw, or one of their biggest draws that year. They went kind of all in on it. And it looks like Ghostbusters is going to be the one this year. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, no, not surprised. The return of the old Twisted Tater. One of the fan favorites. It says Twisted Tater Tots. But it's just Twisted Tater. So, again, a fan favorite food item. I think it's actually good. They just need to add salt. I'm going to be totally transparent about that. They need to add salt. I like the Twisted Taters, but there is not enough salt on them. The flavoring is fine. They're cooked well, usually. What else do we got? Twilight Tavern. So this is clearly going to be some sort of alcohol booth here where you can get your spirits, your cocktails, your drinks. It's going to be right here. Usually there is a bar right in here as well, where they set up basically a bar. And so you can get a lot of drinks and things there. Usually this is the entrance to one of the houses right here. I'm not, this could end up being the Insidious entrance right here. It takes you back to one of the sound stages in the back. Not seeing a whole lot here, but this will definitely be an entrance. All right, we finally made it to the last stuff here in the center area. This is gonna be Ghostbusters and Quiet Place. Entrances right over here. Somewhere in that space. Can't really see anything for Ghostbusters or Quiet Place back here, but I figured I'd at least take a walk back and see if I could see anything. No, not really. So we'll head back over here because I want to show, it looked like I saw something Insidious right over here. Well, right out here in front of where Ghostbusters and Quiet Place and near Insidious right down there, there's an Insidious food booth. Literally called Insidious. Like the name of it is on the building, which is rare for food booths. So clearly, they're excited about Insidious being here at Halloween Horror Nights. You're going to be able to get some Insidious-themed foods, which sounds horrible and disgusting, and I'm all for it. Well, I think we're going to finish it up right here at the entrance area to Monstrous Monsters of Latin America. That I don't see any decorations for it just yet or any opening, like symbols or anything like that, but this is essentially the haunted house of the year from Universal Hollywood last year, so they brought it to this particular location, so we'll get to experience it for the first time. It's in a location where I haven't historically liked the haunted houses, so we'll see if it holds up. But overall, I feel like there's a lot of things happening. I'm really excited for the scare zones and haunted houses this year. Let me know what you think. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know the things that I missed, or maybe I've been off on some stuff. I'd love to hear from you. I didn't talk about the drone show. Still don't know if they're going to do that or not. I'm really hoping that they either keep the current drone show or they do something slightly different, or at least a water show on the lagoon. They haven't announced anything about it. It's looking less and less likely, which is a shame, but I don't know, maybe it'll be a surprise to us. Overall, lots of things coming together, lots of food booths out, lots of decorations, scare zones. I'm pumped. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and until I see you next time, the Noble Way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.